The highlights of the 1968 San Diego Chargers football season is presented for your viewing pleasure by the United States National Bank, a full-service bank with over 50 offices serving the 5 major counties of Southern California. Record number 300,000 Charger fans. Bright, bold San Diego Stadium was where the action was in 1968. The opening game of the season was a memorable one as a legend named Paul Brown returned to the big time to exert his famed coaching magic. The Chargers quickly discovered Brown had molded rookies and rejects into a rugged, rowdy team of hard hitters. The Bengals battled the well-stocked Chargers on even terms through most of the first half. But then the run-scoring machine that is the Charger offense got rolling. Willie Frazier, a 230-pound bull of a tight end, literally ran his escort out of the league with 2 touchdown catches from John Hadle. Frazier, who last year set an AFL record for touchdowns at tight end, is a superb athlete who has yet to reach full potential. Unfortunately, due to injuries, this was to be his only big game of the year. Last year's rookie sensation, Dick Post, continued the offensive explosion by breaking for a 48-yard touchdown. Cincinnati's welcome to the AFL was less than gracious, but as expected of a Brown-coached team, they went down begrudgingly. The Chargers had wrapped up victory number 1 with a bit more difficulty than expected. No team wins in pro football without a reliable kicker. And in 1968, San Diego had their best foot ever as rookie Dennis Partee set a Chargers season scoring record. And against Houston, his 48-yarder, another record, got things started. Through their history, the Chargers have been known as a team that could score often explosively. It sometimes takes a while for the fuse to sizzle, however. But when it does ignite, the player most often responsible is Lance Alworth. Alworth was a workhorse against the Oilers, pulling in 8 passes from John Hadle, including an 80-yard touchdown bomb. Brad Hubbard capped a 21-point fourth quarter with a dive into the end zone, and the Chargers had their second victory of the young season. But it was a costly win for San Diego. Brad Hubbard, the powerful fullback, ruptured a knee ligament near the end of the game and was lost for the season. It was Hubbard along with Dick Post who had formed the rookie running tandem that tore through the league the year before. So the big question as the 3-game road trip began with a visit to Cincinnati was, could the team operate at the same level of efficiency without the valuable running and blocking of Hubbard? The answer came quickly. His replacement, the veteran Gene Foster, ran, passed, and caught for 148 yards against the Bengals. Split in Gary Garrison caught 2 touchdown passes, and the Charger defense smothered the Bengals time and time again to make Coach Sid Gilman's homecoming to the city and stadium where he coached in college a satisfying one. No team can afford the loss of a back of Brad Hubbard's ability, but few have a replacement the caliber of Gene Foster waiting in the wings. He's the prototype fullback, and though not as quick as Hubbard, once underway, he becomes a pounding, yard-gobbling machine. Under a harvest moon on Saturday, October 5th, the undefeated Chargers played their first big game of the 1968 season against the Jets in Shea Stadium. Fittingly, the two highest scoring teams in the league met before the largest crowd ever to watch an American Football League game. At first, defense predominated. Passes missed, runners stopped, and balls dropped. But over 64,000 fans saw what pro football was all about. Then John Hadle began hitting. Receivers Lance Allworth and Gary Garrison accounted for 300 of San Diego's total 347 yards and all 3 touchdowns the Chargers scored. But any team with a Joe Namath is never out of the ballgame. With little more than a minute remaining, Broadway Joe shot the lights out on the Californian. He took his team 75 yards downfield and in for the winner. The Chargers had been beaten for the first time. Next to Oakland for an even bigger game against the streaking Raiders, who had won 14 in a row and had not lost at home in 2 years. When it was over, it had been the Chargers' greatest day, and the Raiders' string of victories lie trampled in the rain-soaked turf of Oakland Coliseum. Their strategy was basic and brutal. Avoid going against the best pass defense in the league by ramming the ball in the gut of the Oakland defense. The instrument they used to do it was Gene Foster. And once the Charger ground superiority was established, they turned to the artistry of Lance Allworth, who despite an occasional 3-man escort, snatched 9 passes out of the dark skies of Oakland for almost 200 yards and a score. The second half was fought in the trenches. The young defense had come of age, and this set the tone for the rest of the season, in which it displayed the kind of hard hitting associated with winners. Experience is the key to any good defense. Experience to diagnose a play, to read and react. Opponents quickly learned one of the best guarded sections of real estate anywhere was the area managed by Scott Appleton and Steve DeLong. Those who trespassed often met with failure, frustration, and pain. A linebacking core that was riddled with injuries much of the season was sparked by number 81, sophomore Jeff Staggs. Staggs played with a kind of bloodthirsty rambunctiousness that soon should merit all-league recognition. A cohesive backfield unit consisting of Speedy Duncan, Bob Howard, and Joe Beauchamp was led by all-league safety Kenny Graham. Graham, number 33, is a vicious tackler who plays football with a flourish. The end zone flag was a familiar sight for the rampaging Chargers as they found themselves in a real horse race with the Denver Broncos. They scored 7 touchdowns, 4 of them bombs from 50 yards or more, and the offense raced for close to 600 yards, a club record. Jack McKinnon, like most tight ends, is valuable as a blocker. But unlike others at the position, he catches the long ball. Number 73, Larry Little, and number 42, Lane Finner, exhibited the kind of downfield blocking San Diego runners received all year on Dick Post's 62-yard touchdown romp as San Diego charged to victory number 5. The banners read, "Welcome home, Keith," as Keith Lincoln, the popular Charger hero of the early 60s, returned to bolster a running attack further depleted by the loss of Gene Foster. But cheers soon turned to anguish. The second time he handled the ball, he fractured his left leg. Injuries are a part of every team's season, but in 1968, they just didn't balance out for San Diego. Besides Lincoln and Hubbard, lost for the season were linebacker Rick Redmond and number 1 draft choice Jim Hill. But the Chargers endured and found ways to win. They employed a mini backfield consisting of Dick Post and Russ Smith against the Dolphins, and the two behind great blocking swept over and around the Miami flanks for win number 6. However, the victory was a sad one for the team and for Keith Lincoln, a fallen hero. It was a tragic homecoming and possibly a last hurrah. The tenacity and spirit of the Chargers was tested even further in the next 2 games, when they were forced to battle the elements as well as opposing teams, and it was the mini backfield who led the way. In the face of a driving northeaster, the worst of New England storms, San Diego and Russ Smith pursued the perilous course toward a championship by sloshing to a win over the Patriots. A week later, in the muck of a slimy mud bath called War Memorial Stadium, they slid by the Bills in conditions that were almost indescribable. Ron Mix is a perennial All-Pro and the last of the original Chargers. He, All-Pro guard Walt Sweeney, and center Sam Gunaisen are 3 reasons the Chargers led the league in pass protection for the 2nd straight year. They blocked for some fine runners, too. Gutsy Russ Smith's greatest value was his willingness to play when hurt. He had the knack of picking his spots and made the absences of Hubbard and Foster less distressing. These legs belong to the latest in a long line of Charger heroes, and little Dick Post knows how to use them. He again led the team in rushing. No one, absolutely no one, gets around a corner faster than Post. Legs churning and whipping like pistons, they give him the thrust and balance he needs to get off his long runs. And he gets them off frequently.
I didn't see Lance. Is Lance here?
Get a support plan out there! All right, here we go. Aboard, Kenny. All right, here we go, gang. Here we go now. Bobby, Kenny, get your support pattern called. Get the support pattern called all the time.
First group is going to go out in 15 minutes. We're going to go out at quarter after.
Oh, Speedy! Let's go. Come on, gang. Come on, gang. Everybody stay with it. Everybody stay with it. Stay with it. Stay with it, Lance. Look at the ball. Look at the ball, everybody. Look it in. Look it in. Look it in. Now, it doesn't look to me like you're running well out there. Now, if you can't run, your place is back here, see? Now, are you able to run or aren't you able to run?
That's right.
All right, we'll watch you another series. Just hold it a minute. Get up in there, Dick! All right. Hey, Bobby! Get tighter on him! You're giving off too damn much! What about that? Put us back in the ball game, Speedy. Put us back in the ball game.
I tell you what, it's pathetic.
Didn't touch the ball! No good! Oh, it's out of bounds! Oh, no! It's out of bounds! The hell's a white line for? Everybody up here, and I mean everybody. Let's go.
I don't care what the hell the nature of the football team is, everybody has a lousy day, and we had one today. We just stunk this joint out so badly, it's unbelievable. But as I say, everybody has a bad day. Okay, just forget about it. Okay. Such is life.
And such was life on December 1st, as San Diego charged into Bear Stadium and on to victory against the Broncos. Lance Alworth set a team record and tied a league one by scoring 4 touchdowns. He and Gary Garrison made sport of the Bronco cornerbacks by pulling in 14 passes for nearly 300 yards. General Manager Gilman has conveniently given Coach Gilman all the necessary tools. Charger quarterbacks throw to one of the finest set of receivers assembled anywhere. People wait a lifetime to see a player like Lance Alworth, football's outstanding receiver. He has it all, the blazing speed, great hands, and a pogo stick leaping ability that's become a personal trademark. On occasion, this has meant being marked for rough treatment, but he can dish it out as well. Once he has the ball, Lance is loose, and the fluid grace of his thoroughbred style is most apparent. When the enemy defense strong covered Alworth, it unleashed on the opposite flank a devastating force named Gary Garrison. An extremely popular player in San Diego, he is the complete receiver, and this year joined Alworth in the exclusive 1,000-yard club. Coach never knows for certain if his team is ready. Before the showdown with the Chiefs, Gilman thought the Chargers were, but no one was prepared for the disaster that followed. 4 interceptions either bounced off receivers or were deflected by the Chiefs secondary. In one quick flash, the entire season ended in defeat and frustration. Visitors to San Diego Stadium can anticipate great excitement in 1969. It's the year of the 200th anniversary celebration, a year which will see a good young team further bolstered by the return of its injured stars and by the addition of 2 #1 draft choices, quarterback Marty Domrus and All-America linebacker Bob Babich. And who can forget last year's great victory over the Rams? They'll be back along with the most attractive preseason schedule ever devised. The Chargers, the most successful team in the AFL, will be playing the finest football has to offer. It is in keeping with a tradition they've created over 9 seasons, that of a winner. And in 1969, once again, they'll charge to victory.